The relationship between Gervonta "Tank" Davis and his longtime trainer Calvin Ford is a story of loyalty, mentorship, and the gritty realities of boxing, intertwined with the personal struggles of growing up in Baltimore's toughest neighborhoods. This bond, forged in the crucible of the Upton Boxing Center, has been a cornerstone of Davis's rise from a troubled youth to a multi-division world champion. However, their dynamic was tested during Davis's controversial majority draw against Lamont Roach Jr. on March 1, 2025, at Barclays Center, a fight that sparked debates about strategy, focus, and the absence of Ford in Davis's corner. The fallout from that bout, coupled with the ensuing drama, has kept the boxing world buzzing, with social media exchanges, pay-per-view reports, and speculation about a rematch fueling the narrative. Davis's connection to Ford began when he was just 7 years old, a kid navigating the perils of West Baltimore. Ford, a former inmate who served 10 years in federal prison during the 1980s, had reinvented himself as a mentor dedicated to keeping kids off the streets through boxing. At Upton Boxing Center, he saw potential in the young Davis, a boy full of raw talent but surrounded by chaos. Ford didn't just teach Davis how to throw punches. He provided structure, discipline, and a sense of family that Davis lacked at home. For Davis, the gym became a sanctuary, a place where he could escape the dangers of the streets and channel his energy into something constructive. Ford wasn't just a coach, he was a father figure, someone Davis looked up to and sought out, even sleeping outside the gym's doors as a kid, waiting for it to open. This mentorship shaped Davis's life and career. Ford's philosophy extended beyond boxing. He taught life skills, emphasizing the importance of focus and commitment. He warned the kids in his gym, including Davis, that the streets offered only two outcomes: jail or death. For Davis, Ford's guidance was a lifeline. He recalls sleeping at Ford's house, accompanying him to his job at a seafood restaurant, and absorbing the lessons Ford imparted about staying focused and avoiding the pitfalls that claimed many of his peers. Those early days cemented a bond that went beyond the ring, with Ford and assistant coach Kenny Ellis holding the team together like glue. Davis credits them with keeping him on the right path, acknowledging that without their influence, he might have ended up like many of his childhood friends, lost to violence or incarceration. The March 1, 2025, fight against Lamont Roach Jr. put this bond under scrutiny. For the first time in his professional career, Davis entered a major fight without Ford in his corner, a decision that raised eyebrows in the boxing community. The absence stemmed from a strategic pause, not a permanent split, as Ford chose to focus on youth training back in Baltimore. He framed it as a chance for both to gain perspective, insisting he was still part of Davis's journey, just from a different vantage point. However, the decision sparked speculation, especially after the fight ended in a majority draw, marking the first blemish on Davis's previously unblemished record. The bout itself was a lightning rod for controversy. Roach, a Washington, D.C. native and a former sparring partner of Davis, brought an aggressive, calculated approach. Many observers, including some fans and analysts, believed Roach outworked Davis, landing effective jabs and combinations while maintaining ring generalship. One fan scored the fight 7-5 in Roach's favor, citing his pressure and consistency, particularly in the first 3 and final 6 rounds. Davis, known for his explosive power, relied heavily on landing a single big shot rather than maintaining a high output, a strategy that didn't pay off as it had in past fights. The 9th round became a focal point of debate when Davis took a knee after a jab, claiming a greasy hair product irritated his eyes. Referee Steve Willis controversially did not rule it a knockdown, allowing Davis's corner to wipe his face without administering a count. This decision drew boos from the crowd and criticism from Roach's camp, who argued it should have cost Davis the round or even led to a disqualification. Post-fight, the boxing world erupted. Roach insisted he deserved the win, pointing to the knee incident and his overall performance. Davis, meanwhile, defended his actions, admitting he took the knee to avoid getting caught while his vision was compromised. He claimed ignorance of the potential consequences, stating he didn't realize it could lead to a disqualification or a counted knockdown. The controversy fueled tensions between the fighters, which spilled over onto social media platforms like X, where they traded barbs about the fight's outcome and the prospect of a rematch. Roach, confident in his performance, claimed contractual rights to a second fight, while Davis pushed for a rematch to settle the score, dismissing talk of other potential opponents like Isaac "Pitbull" Cruz. The absence of Ford during the fight became a lightning rod for criticism. Some, like Bill Haney, father and trainer of Devin Haney, claimed Davis had fired Ford and Ellis, a rumor Davis and Ford vehemently denied. Haney suggested the move was a mistake, implying that Ford's absence left Davis unprepared. Others, like trainer Barry, took a more neutral stance, acknowledging Ford's coaching prowess but framing the change as part of the sport's ebb and flow. Fans and analysts speculated that Ford's guidance might have made the difference, pointing to Davis's lackluster performance as evidence. Keshan Davis, a commentator, echoed this sentiment, arguing that Tank seemed unfocused, distracted by external issues and unable to lock in during the fight. He noted Davis's in-ring arguing and low output as signs of a fighter not fully committed to the moment. Ford himself offered a candid assessment of the fight, suggesting Davis didn't bring his A-game. He pointed out missed opportunities where Davis could have pressed his advantage but instead boxed cautiously, failing to close rounds with his trademark aggression. Ford noted that Roach's resilience and preparation made the fight closer than it needed to be, as Davis didn't capitalize on moments to assert dominance. For Ford, the draw was a wake-up call, a chance for Davis to refocus and rediscover the killer instinct that had defined his career. He emphasized that the fight's outcome wasn't just about tactics but about Davis's mindset, suggesting that sometimes a tough fight is necessary to remind a champion of their potential. The drama surrounding the fight extended beyond the ring. Reports surfaced that the pay-per-view buys for the Davis-Roach bout totaled 149,000, according to Rick Glazer, a figure that sparked debate about its accuracy. Glazer's reporting, shared via a tweet by Turkey Alashik, raised questions about whether the numbers were inflated or understated. Trust in Glazer's figures varies among fans. Some view him as a reliable source due to his industry connections and history of breaking boxing news, arguing that 149,000 buys aligns with expectations for a high-profile fight featuring a star like Davis. Others are skeptical, citing the lack of transparency in pay-per-view reporting and the potential for promoters to manipulate numbers for publicity. Without official confirmation from the promoters or broadcasters, the figure remains contentious, with fans urged to weigh its credibility based on Glazer's track record and the context of the event. The fight's aftermath also highlighted the personal stakes for Davis and Roach. For Davis, the draw was a blow to his reputation as an untouchable knockout artist. His fierce defense of Ford during the build-up, when Roach allegedly criticized the trainer's role in camp, underscored his loyalty. In an explosive moment captured on tape, Davis dismissed Roach's comments as disrespectful, standing firmly by Ford's side. This loyalty reflects the depth of their bond, with Davis crediting Ford for keeping him grounded since childhood. For Roach, the fight was a career-defining moment. He went toe-to-toe with one of boxing's biggest stars, landing significant shots and proving he could compete at the highest level. His performance earned him widespread respect and a strong case for a rematch, with many arguing he deserved the victory. The controversy over the 9th round remains a sticking point. By boxing rules, a fighter taking a knee typically results in a knockdown, costing a point. Willis's decision not to count it, citing Davis's eye issue, sparked accusations of favoritism, though some defended the call as prioritizing fighter safety. The incident, combined with the corner's actions in wiping Davis's face, fueled Roach's argument that he was robbed of a clear win. The New York State Athletic Commission faces pressure to review the decision, though overturning a result is rare and challenging without clear evidence of misconduct. Regardless, the incident has added fuel to the rematch narrative, with both fighters eager to prove themselves. Davis and Ford's reunion post-fight was a full-circle moment. Ford returned to the training camp, and Davis expressed relief at having his mentor back. Their bond, tested by the brief separation, emerged stronger, with both men recommitting to their shared goal of dominance in the ring. Ford's return is seen as a tactical and emotional boost, with Davis acknowledging the void left by his absence. The gym, once a refuge for young Davis, remains a cornerstone of their relationship, a place where life lessons and boxing skills intertwine. The co-main event and featured bout on the card added to the night's drama. Gary Antoine Russell delivered a masterclass against Rio Vanula, showcasing hand speed and combinations to win the WBA title, with many scoring it 11 or 12 rounds in his favor. Alberto Pujo's victory over Sander Martin to retain his WBC title was closer, with Pujo edging out the final rounds with cleaner left hands. The card as a whole was well received, but the Davis-Roach fight stole the spotlight, its controversies and implications dominating discussions. As the rematch looms, the focus is on whether Davis can recapture his edge. Ford's presence is expected to sharpen his preparation, addressing the lapses in focus and aggression that cost him against Roach. For Roach, the rematch is a chance to solidify his status as a top contender, proving the first fight was no fluke. The ongoing social media exchanges keep the rivalry alive, with fans eagerly awaiting the next chapter. Whether the New York State Athletic Commission revisits the ninth-round controversy or the fight remains a draw, the saga of Davis versus Roach, and the enduring bond between Davis and Ford, ensures that the boxing world will be watching closely.